Alright guys, it's Dokkan time, and today we're going to be doing a how-to build for the newly Extreme Z awakened Fat Boo, Pure Evil, Super Boo exchange unit. So as you can see on the right side of the screen as per normal, I have 55%, and we got a double dupe to Rainbow. We're going for primarily an additional. That's primarily what I would suggest focusing on. Now, you can by all means treat this unit as kind of a more tank unit that can do some damage at the end of when it actually transforms all the way. Or you can take advantage of the amount of damage he can do and get the maximum amount of defense possible and go for additional. We're going to go over his details, but this is just my suggestion. If you don't agree with it, by all means, choose to build the unit how you choose and let me know down in the comments how you did build the unit. I'm curious because this is just my suggestion. So, moving on. So this is the final state of Boo, but we're going to go backwards and we're going to go take a look at his base state, which is when he is Fat Boo / Pure Evil. It's Fat Boo right here. But basically, he's a 170 lead Majin Power Artificial Life Form. If you by chance didn't pull the new Majin Buu, this guy's a great sub-leader to be popping in there. He's still 170, Ki +4, helps out on the Ki control a little bit. Ki +3, 150 attack and defense, another 50% attack when performing a super, reduces damage by 40% still, but now if there's a Majin Power category ally in the same turn, you get an additional 30%. So 70% damage reduction in total. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 50% when there is no Majin Power category enemy. Very weird thing to throw in there, but you know, it is what it is. That's nice. It'll pretty much always be active unless you're fighting the new Red Zone boss. So there could be a small difference based on who you're fighting. He does greatly raise his attack, but only raises defense on his super. He does not stack, just letting you know that. So let's move on to the Pure Evil Boo. Now, this Boo, you can stay in this state for a long period of time. You don't have to transform into Super Boo. You can stay into this one, and there's going to be a fine reasoning for that. Anyways, so Super Deck greatly raises attack, raises defense for 3 turns, however. So this does stack. So that means you super attack. Let's say that you transform turn 3, and you would super attack. You only get 1 super off. Going on to turn 5, that stack from the greatly raised attack and the raised defense will have carried over. So, he does have the ability to seal also once he hits this point. He does now have Ki +3 attack and defense plus 200%, actually attack plus 200 and defense 150, I'm sorry. And then plus an additional attack plus 70% when performing a super. Still has 70% damage reduction in total as long as you have a Majin Power category ally in the same turn. And then once again, still has 50% attack and defense if there's no Majin Power enemy. So, also has a great chance of stunning attacked enemy, which is 70%. And key thing right here is has a high chance to dodge. So 50% chance to dodge in the Pure Evil state here. That is something to very much keep in mind. A lot of dodge advocates that play this game, and I totally understand why people would want to focus up on that dodge and keep it. So, I mean, that's entirely up to you if you would want to stay on more of a kind of a dodge aspect of the unit, more defensive aspect. Because his defense does go up when he does go into Super Boo. But, you know, if it's in such a situation where you're dodge or die no matter what, then maybe it might be best to stay in this part of his transformations. But as of the time of recording, there's very few bosses in the game that could actually kill this unit. You know, you could still take a couple 100k, you know, 100, 200, 300k even on some bosses. But for the most part, he pretty much tanks every boss in the game. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's just because it's just the raw damage reduction. 70% damage reduction does go a long way. Obviously, intelligence enemies are going to do more damage, so keep that in mind if you go up against, like, Blue Zone Trunks or something. But anyways, we move on to the Super Boo. And with Super Boo, now we massively raise attack and greatly raise defense for 3 turns. A massive raise is a 100% increase. That's a lot of extra damage. And then, of course, defense is 50% raise. That's very good. Very, 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 very good. Keepless 4 now. Attack to 250, defense 200. As you can see, we're getting a lot of extra defense here. And now there's a slight difference in the damage reduction. The damage reduction now is a 50% damage reduction. But if there's another Majin Power category ally in the same turn, you'll get another 20%. It's just in the rare, probably never going to happen instance that you would have this unit with no other Majin Power ally on the turn. It's very unlikely, but, you know, it's kind of nice. You never know. Plus additional attack was 50 and chance of performing a critical hit plus 25%. So that means every Rainbow Key Sphere, 25% increase of critical hit. That's just crazy to me, because even with just 2 Rainbow Key Spheres, which is kind of likely to happen, that's a 50% chance to crit. That's a 50% chance to crit. Now, I will say this, at the top of my head, not that I can remember right now, I don't think there's an ally that you're going to really have on the team that's going to change Key Spheres to Rainbow Key Spheres. So that is something to keep in mind if you're going to be choosing to focus up on this build. Now, you could be hurting your damage production. You might just need to keep mind of, you know, what Rainbow Key Spheres you grab. It's entirely up to you. Maybe there is a Rainbow Key Sphere changer that you can put on the team that can help him out. But either way, regardless of him having the crit or not, I just think he's still going to be a very good defensive tank, and I think that's really what he's here for. He can do some decent damage, actually. Let's go take a look over here. This is Rocket Lizard's calculations here. We'll take a look at the Fat Boo point. You know, only 360k defense. That's not a lot. Very unlikely you'll get 2 supers. 9 to 10 million super attacks, though. That's pretty good damage. That's good damage for a base state, you know. For hindsight, the intelligence Fat Boo and even the Super Saiyan 3 Goku are barely hitting 8 to 10 million attack stats at Rainbow. I mean, well, they're probably more around 11, 12, you know, after they're additionally constantly, but the fact that this is a base state and he's already at 9, 10 million, that's good. That's good, because it means it can only go up. In turn 3, when you go in the Pure Evil, you know, 10, 11 mil supers, if you double super, 360k defense. Not a big change on defense. Not a big change whatsoever. But keep in mind, because it's a 3-turn buff for the defense, that means you can capitalize on that second super. So that means turn 3, you super once. On turn 5, this is what the defense will be guaranteed on that next turn as long as he supers. On super, he will have 448. If he by chance double supers at this point, he could be somewhere in the range of like 600k. So that could be a very interesting thing to note, you know, if you go for an additional route as well. And then, you know, we go into turn 6 with Super Boo. Super Boo's doing good damage, man. He's doing good damage. You know, and this is before stacking into the next turn. I mean, 16 mil. That's crazy. You could easily see this Boo in the 20 mil stat range. And I really think additionals would just go super far, man. I really do. I feel like additionals would help so much on the damage and on the defensive capability, of course. Defensively wise, I mean, start of turns 300. Okay, that's not too bad, with 70% damage reduction, of course. On super, 450, 2 supers, 600. So that means carrying over to the turn after, you'll be at least 600k defense. He's solid. As long as he's getting his supers off, you know, as long as he gets a super off every turn, this guy is freaking crazy. That's I really cannot express that enough. This is kind of a wanked rotation, but this is a scenario where you could potentially get a very devastating amount of damage in here. I mean, 30 mil on a double super, 27 mil on just one super. You know, that's with a double stack, though. This is with you double supering the turn prior, and this is with support in the third slot, which is coming from that Babidi and the Borer right there, which gives 40% attack and defense. So, I mean, this could be a nasty rotation. I'm just saying, this guy has a nice height. He's got a good maximum. So, it's something to keep in mind, you know, something to keep in mind. I do want to look at his leaders real quick. So, leader-wise, he can fit on numerous amount of teams. Villains just kind of needs help at all points of time in this game. And he just helps out a lot. You can throw him onto Zamasu's team. You can throw him onto Goku's team, and he'll just kind of be fine if you have Fat Buu on the team as well, or LR Buu tanks. A lot of people love to throw LR Buu tanks onto Majin Buu Saga. He's probably one of the better Majin Buu Saga units. And then you have, of course, Android 21 and Fat Buu. Android 21, I loved Android 21, obviously. Everybody knows that here. But probably not the best leader, but not the worst. Remember, 21 is a floating leader. So when you're building a team with 21 as a leader and a friend unit, you're always keeping in mind that 21 is probably going to be floated. So just concentrate on your main rotations with like this Fat Buu here, with Buu tanks, with this Super Buu Easy Aid. You know, concentrate on these as your main rotations, and just let 21 float off and heal and so forth whenever you need to, and dodge. So. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it for the video. I would just like to know how you guys are going to choose to build them. Are you going to follow my suggestion with the additional and putting the rest into dodge focus? Or are you just going to be like, nah, I think I'd rather just go full dodge, or I'd just rather put in crit instead and have him do more damage instead of bothering with the dodge? Because the dodge, in all honesty, he doesn't need it. I mean, 70% damage reduction goes a very long way. And if you were in such a situation where dodge is mandatory, you can just stay into the pure evil state, and I think you would be pretty much fine. So, but I don't see any reason not to transform into Super Buu when he's just got such an overwhelming amount of defense and damage. He's so good. He's so good. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night.